Mandara. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Prema Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. What's happening?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, you are about to go. It's like I'm having data problem. Yes. Where I'm to go and buy credit is far from house. So I can help. Okay. Let me just start. I'll be helping around. Hare Krishna, Malik ji, Dhanava Pranam. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Hare. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Priscilla Velo, Happy New Year. Ramanga, Happy New Year. Aswini Kumar Prabhu, Happy New Year. Raganuga Bhakti Prabhu, Happy New Year. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, can you all hear me?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes, we are sorry for coming late to the carryover of the last year is trying to interfere with the beginning of the new year. So what can we do? Hare Krishna, you are welcome, nevertheless. Last we were talking about different kinds of sacrifices. Talking about different kinds of sacrifices. Different kinds of sacrifices. And Hare Krishna. We're talking about the sacrifice for the house, for the brahmacharis. The sacrifice for the brahmacharis, sacrifice for the householders, sacrifice for the Astanga yogi, and the sacrifice for the study of the Vedas, the sacrifice of the Hatha Yoga, Pranayama, and we talk a lot about these sacrifices. And towards the end, it was concluded that of all sacrifices, that of the Bhakti Yogi is the highest, and that the purpose of sacrifice altogether is to bring somebody to the platform of knowledge, transcendental knowledge. That even Bhagavad Apita Niskama Kama Yoga is to bring the practitioner to the platform of knowledge, and to be able to do that effectively, practically. We come to the next verse, which is Bhagavad Gita 3:34, which is the very popular verse among devotees. It's a memorization verse, and every devotee is expected to memorize this verse. Yeah, every devotee is expected to know this verse. It's very, very important. So that is it. How to be able to know this verse, how to be able to understand the type of knowledge is what is explained here. We need the guidance. We need to take shelter of a Tattva-dasi or a Gyani. We need to take shelter of a Tattva-dasi, somebody who has seen the truth. And then under the guidance of that person, we will be able to access the knowledge, we will be able to practicalize it, and we'll be able to get the benefit. So this is where we are. Okay? That we may perform a Kama Kanda sacrifice and give up limited amounts of sense gratification, so that within the material realm, that such a sacrifice is performed with meager knowledge of the difference between body and soul, and with no factual knowledge of Krishna's position. Thus, that sacrifice is inferior to the sacrifice performed in knowledge. The sacrifices performed in knowledge lead one to higher platform of transcendental knowledge. That concluding his discussion of sacrifices, Krishna now begins his summary of transcendental knowledge by again describing how it can directly be attained. How can this transcendental knowledge be directly attained? This is where we have verse 34, 434. It's a memorization verse, and we say each and every devotee should know this verse. 434. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya padekshyanti te jnanam jnanina stattvadasina. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So somebody should read the purport for us. Somebody should read the purport for us, please.
434.
434, please.
Okay. 434. Just right. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Just try to learn the truth. The purport, okay. The path for spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the land of disciplic succession from the Lord himself. No one can be a bona fide spiritual master without following these principles of disciplic succession. The Lord is the original spiritual master, and a person in the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to his disciple. No one can be spiritual realized by manufacturing his own process, as is the fashion of the foolish pretenders. The Bhagavatam 6.3.19 says, Dharmam tu ashad Bhagavat pranitam. The path of religion is directly initiated by the Lord. Therefore, mental speculation or dry argument cannot help lead one to the right path. Nor by independent study of books of knowledge can one progress in the spiritual life. One has to approach as a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is a secret of advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submission constitute a proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master, unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master, and when he sees the genuine desire of the disciples, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. Not only should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiry. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind toward the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries becomes perfect. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, this particular purport is very much loaded. You see? This particular purport is so very much loaded that independent study of the scripture is not enough. One needs the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. The Lord is the original spiritual master, and a person in the discipline succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to his disciples. So there you see that there are qualifications for becoming a spiritual master. And one of the qualifications is that a spiritual master does not speculate. He is acting on behalf of the original spiritual master. Therefore, he repeats what the spiritual master, original spiritual master, Krishna has said. And is always in line. It must be within the param system for you to be called a bona fide spiritual master. You must have a spiritual master, and your spiritual master must have a spiritual master, and you are in an unbroken chain of discipline succession. This is it. Basic qualification for becoming a spiritual master. So these spiritual masters, they test their disciples. The spiritual master has the right to test a disciple because the disciple must be qualified and the spiritual master must be qualified. So if the spiritual master has qualifications, it is the duty of the spiritual master also to make sure that the disciple is qualified. So he can test his disciples in any way to measure his level of advancement. How the spiritual master is, how the disciple is progressing. He can create all kinds of tests for him. So there was a story of these three disciples of Domia. And these disciples, one is called Veda, one is called Aruni, and another one is called Upamanyu. He had 3 major disciples. So one day, they went to the fields, and by the time they came back, one of the disciples was not back yet. It's called Aruni. Aruni was nowhere to be found. So they waited until evening. Then they went around looking for Aruni. Then they found that Aruni was lying down on the path. There was some rain, and there was some kind of water coming to overflood the rice field. So Aruni was lying on the paths of the flow, trying to block the water from coming to spoil the field. So he was lying down there, but if he gets up, the water will just enter the field and overrun it and spoil everything. So since there was no other alternative, he decided to sacrifice himself for the welfare of everyone. So he was there lying down on the path in the cold. So they asked him, Aruni, what are you doing here? What is the behavior? What is the cause for this kind of behavior? Aruni said, oh, I saw that the water was, coming to spoil the field, and there was no other alternative. I had to just block it until the rain goes off. Then I will get up and come home. So I decided to make that sacrifice to save the field for everyone. Sorry. The spiritual master became very happy with Aruni, and he blessed him with realized knowledge. Aruni became very realized knowledge, and later also became a spiritual master. The spiritual master is making disciples. There is hope is that some of the disciples will also come and represent him as spiritual master in the future. And it's among the many of the disciples that he will now select those who are applying the knowledge, those who are practically applying the knowledge. Among them, he will get somebody to also represent him. So Aruni later became a spiritual master by dint of the blessing of his spiritual master. Then the second disciple, Veda. The second disciple was rendering many services to the guru. When you have a guru, you make inquiries to clear your doubts anywhere you are confused. But you have to render services, many services to your guru too. So it is not out of place that disciples sometimes go to the guru to render service to him, wash his clothes, clean his house, do so many things for him. So this Veda was there rendering many services to his guru. And among the services was to clean the floor, sweep every corner, wash the clothes of the guru, dry them, cook for him, and serve him. When the guru at the end of the day forget to call the disciples to eat, the disciple will not eat. It's as serious as that. Please, go and wait for me then. The disciple will not eat. So this Veda was serving like this. Many of the times the guru will forget to call him for food, and he will fast, and he will sleep on the bare floor, and he will be mopping before the guru wakes up. He has cleaned the whole place nice. He did the toilets, everywhere is always clean. So he was rendering this service. So one day the guru came, he looked at him, he said, please, I'm pleased with you. So the guru blessed him. So his theoretical knowledge becomes realized knowledge. So he became a very powerful representative of his guru, and later he also became a guru. Now Aruni has become a guru by the blessing of his guru. Veda has become a guru by the blessing of his guru. But the third disciple was a little bit more stubborn. It's called Upamanyu. This Upamanyu, in the day he would go for collection, he go begging, go and making guru darshan. He will beg on behalf of the guru, and he will come. Then he will offer the whatever he collects to the guru. But it was getting so plumpy, robust, because a disciple brahmachari is supposed to be austere, so physically it doesn't need to look so, robust, just blossoming. So the guru asked him, my dear Upamanyu, what are you doing? How are you sustaining yourself? Upamanyu said, oh, Gurudev, I go to beg, and when I beg till so time, I keep that one for you. Then between that time, between 5 and 6, I'll beg for myself. Whatever I get for myself, I use it to take care of myself. The Guru said, no, don't do this. If you want to be a proper disciple, you should beg, and whatever you collect, you hand it over to the Guru. You don't need to collect some and keep separately for yourself. He said, okay, Guru, thank you very much, I will do. Then Guru left and he went ahead. After some time, the Guru saw that the disciple was still getting robust. He was enjoying like somebody who is enjoying so much. So he called him and said, oh, Gurudev, you know what? I will beg for you. Then when I submit, I still go out and still beg a little for my. Gurudev said, no. When you beg, whatever you collect, you surrender it to your Guru. That is how to become a proper disciple. So he said, okay, yes, Guru. Okay, this time Guru said, I'm not going to tell you to go out again. You go and take care of the cow shed. So Upamanyu was taking care of the cow shed. And he was still looking very fresh and robust. Somebody who's supposed to be performing austerity is supposed to be looking dry. He's looking robust. So he asked him, my dear Upamanyu, what is happening? You're still looking very fresh and robust. How do you maintain yourself? I said, oh, Gurudev, after taking care of the cow, I'm working in the cow shed. So I drink part of the milk. I said, no. Gurudev said, no. That milk is supposed to be for the Lordship. It's for the altar. And it's for making give preparations for the Lordship. So why are you taking part of it? Don't do that. That's not the proper behavior of a disciple. So they say, okay, yes, Gurudev. After some weeks, Gurudev goes back. Excuse me for a moment. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. So if the little that is there finish, it will automatically. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Sorry, we are already on. So anyway, Hare Krishna. So it said the milk from the cow is meant for the altar and for deity worship and for preparing nice provision for the deity. Why are you taking it? So he said, okay, Gurudev, I will not do that again. After some weeks, Gurudev saw that Upamanyu was still looking very fresh and good. He said, but how are you maintaining yourself? How? Tell me. He said, Gurudev, when I finished taking the milk, making the cows, and the little that dropped, the little that remains, I used to take that. He said, look. By doing that, you are depriving the calves. The calves are supposed to take that. You are making them angry. The children of the cow, they're supposed to drink that, not you. So, okay, then we know what to do. So he left. Upamanyu went to the forest. And he was very hungry. The fire in his stomach used to be very strong. So he decided to eat some leaves. So he was eating some leaves. Unluckily for him, he ate a poisonous leaf and he got blind. As he got blind, he was struggling in the forest alone. He fell into a dry well, deep dry well. So he was there for the whole day. At the end of the day, the Gurudev did not see his disciple. Other disciples did not see Upamanyu. So they started searching for Upamanyu in the forest. And they found Upamanyu in a very deep well. When they called him, he explained how he got it. Now, oh, Gurudev said, okay, no problem. This has happened. He gave him some mantra to chant. He chanted the mantra, and immediately the Aswini Kumaras. The Aswini Kumaras are heavenly physicians. So he chanted the mantras, the Aswini Kumaras appeared. Say, okay, what do you want? He said, look at my situation. Do you want your eyes to be open? He said, no problem. They made a preparation for him. Okay, take this heavenly food, this prasad. Once you eat it, your eyes will open. Upamanyu said, look, I cannot eat this because my Gurudev has not told me to eat. I am in this condition because I ate leaves that Gurudev did not tell me to eat. I've been eating, this is my problem. So this one you have offered to me, I cannot eat it. But eat it and your problem will be gone. Then you say, no, it was the Gurudev who told us to say, no, unless my Guru personally tells me to eat, I will not eat it. Because it is all these whimsical activities, doing things outside of the Guru's instruction, that I find myself in this condition. But now I'm not ready to do that. So immediately the Guru appeared. He said, yes, now you have gotten the import of the whole instructions I've been giving you. Immediately eat it. He ate it, his eyes opened, and now he brought him back. So the point is that our theoretical knowledge has to become realized knowledge. It becomes realized knowledge by dint of practice, practical application. So whatever knowledge we are studying here is theoretical until we apply it in our own personal lives. And the Guru is there to give us guidance how to practice this theoretical knowledge, how to put it into practice. This is it. This story was told at the beginning of Mahabharata, just to emphasize that in spiritual life, you cannot make advancement unless you get the mercy of the spiritual master. You need the mercy of the Guru in order to transmute your theoretical knowledge into its practical equivalent. The mercy of the Guru is seriously needed. And you get the mercy of the Guru by following instructions directly, by rendering many services. So in the purport, it is contained. It is in the purport that when you get a Guru, you have to make inquiries. But these inquiries should not be challenging inquiries. They are called absorbed inquiries. The absorbed inquiries are condemned. You challenge the Guru. When the Guru says something, you challenge it. That is not. You have to ask the Guru in a submissive mood. You hear, that is submissive oral reception. You give your ears, you ask questions, and you are ready to receive the answer and put it into practice without the desire to just argue for the sake of arguing. You need this. Okay? Very, very important. And also blind following is not encouraged also. Blind following. Blind following. So blind following also, there is a little story about blind following. Once there was a Guru who was traveling with his disciples also, but this time on a horse, donkey, horse. These were means of transportation in those days. So they were traveling on the back of a donkey. Okay, let's say a donkey because it's easy. So donkey was taking them, and the Guru told them that please, anything that drops, anything that falls from this back of the donkey, don't pick. We are traveling. Everybody should focus. Everybody on where we are going. So they were going. The donkey was going fast, and at a point, some loads of the Guru's loads at the back of the donkey started falling off. Some bags fell. The disciples at the back did not mind. Another bag fell. Until they went very fast, many of the bags fell down. The Guru was not aware. The disciples did not say anything. And the Guru said, where are my bags? Where are my bags? What has happened? He said, oh, Gurudev, the bags fell off on the way, but because you did not tell us to pick anything that fall, so we did not pick them. Whatever fell is falling, and we are far away. So Guru said, what do you mean? Would you use your common sense that if something falls, you're supposed to pick it and put it? Gurudev, you did not tell us that, so we're trying to be very careful not to do what you did not tell us to do. So they went back and picked everything, and they started just saying, now anything that falls from the back of the donkey, please pick it and put it back. Pick it. Anything that falls, pick it and put it. So, okay, yes, Gurudev. So they were going. They started going. This time, the donkey started releasing a stool. Boom! Big bunch of donkey shit fall on the ground. Wow. The disciples will jump down, pick it, and put it at the back of among the loads. They were going. Another one, donkey, released a very big, the volume of shit again. Boom, on the floor. They pick it and put it. In that way, the donkey was passing a lot of stool, and they were putting all at the back of it. Then everything was smelling into the Guru's nose. The Guru said, what is happening? What has happened? He stopped. And they stopped the donkey and said, what has happened? Said, that Gurudev, you told us that anything that fell from the donkey, we should put it back. So this donkey has been passing through. And we have been gathering all this too, because it fell from there, we had to put it back. So Gurudev said, look at you. You dull-headed one, so you can't understand. Is it donkey's stool? I said it to me. So we are just trying to follow your instructions. This is blind following. Use your intelligence. This is not what I meant. So as disciples, we need to make inquiries. Blind following is condemned. Don't follow blindly, but you should also ask questions. But your questions should not be challenging questions. You ask questions in submissive spirit. So this you will get from the spiritual master. Anywhere you are confused about anything, you can make clarification from the spiritual master. And you take the spiritual master's instructions to act, then you follow. So by that, gradually, the theoretical knowledge you are gathering becomes transmuted into realized knowledge. Jnana, Vijnana. Jnana becomes Vijnana. Theoretical knowledge becomes realized knowledge by the touch of the Guru. And he said, this you can do, but the Guru Seva you should do, to respect the spiritual master, carry out his orders. Sadhu Seva you should do. Other devotees, you should render services to them. Not that you see only your spiritual master as the only person who should carry his instructions. Carry the instructions of the spiritual master, render services to other devotees. Then you have to maintain a very strong sadhana. These are the three legs of the tripod. This is the tripod. 3 legs of the tripod. Guru Seva, Sadhu Seva, and strong sadhana. You need these 3 in order to transmute your theoretical knowledge you have acquired in the Bhakti Sastri classes into its practical realized equivalent. After all, it is said that 1 gallon of realized knowledge or 1 gallon of theoretical knowledge is only equal to 1 drop of realized knowledge. See the equation. 1 drop of realized knowledge is equivalent to 1 gallon of theoretical knowledge. So what we are doing in the classes, studying the scripture together, we are gathering theoretical knowledge, which is needed so that our conviction will become very strong. Then when you put it into practice, it becomes realized knowledge. When you put it into practice under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, while rendering services to other senior Vaishnavas or the Vaishnavas in general, and practicing a very strong sadhana yourself. So Guru Seva, Sadhu Seva, strong sadhana. This is what you need to transmute this theoretical knowledge into its practical equivalent. So the disciple must be qualified and the spiritual master must be qualified. Then, say, therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries become perfect. Yes. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. That is realized knowledge. In this verse, not only should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiries. The bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind towards his disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries become perfect. Okay? Very, very important. Srila Rupa Goswami explained that accepting the shelter of the lotus feet of a spiritual master is the first item of the devotional service. Adaumi Guru Padaksha. The knowledge one receives from a spiritual master will now be described. That knowledge you will receive from the mercy of the spiritual master is not the knowledge of mathematics and geography and physics. The knowledge you receive from the spiritual master is different type of knowledge. It is not knowledge about the distance between two places. It is not knowledge about where they sell very quality products, material products in the cheapest of prices. It is not knowledge about where you can get the best of electronics. The knowledge the disciple gets from the spiritual master is not knowledge about where they sell the best type of chunks in Accra. The knowledge the disciple gets from the spiritual master is not the type of knowledge of where they sell the best type of shoe and canvas in Abidjan. The knowledge the spiritual master, the knowledge the disciple gets from the spiritual master is not the type of knowledge about where they sell the best type of food or the best type of dhoti in India. It's a different type of knowledge, and that we are going to see in the next verse. Verse 35. Yagyatwana puna mohan evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani asesani draksyasi atmani atomai. And when you have thus learned the truth, you will know that all living beings are but part of me, and that they are in me and are mine. Haribo, Haribo. Srila Baladev Vijabhushana comments that one result of knowledge is that we no longer fall into illusion. What is this illusion? The illusion of thinking that things are separate from God. Everything is part and parcel of God. Everything you see in existence belongs to God. They are either is direct energy or is separated energy. That either is gross energies or subtle energies. Everything in this world is made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. These are all energies of the Lord. So in actuality, everything is within the Lord. Everything is in existence is within. Only out of bewilderment, we are thinking that something is separate from the Lord. The ability in man is also from God. The intelligence is from Him. Everything is in existence. All that sustain us here, they are all from the Lord. The sunshine is from the Lord. The vegetations are all from the Lord. The earth is from the Lord. The water is from the Lord. The air we breathe is from the Lord. So everything in existence is actually coming from the Lord. So when one becomes, situated in the mercy of the Lord or the spiritual master, he first gets the knowledge that everything in this world is part and parcel of the Lord. He sees things in relationship with the Lord immediately. So that is the first, he becomes free from the illusion of thinking that something is separate. A Jew do not think that his relatives will die. Is to understand that all living entities, whether animal and demigods or human beings, are different from their bodies. In addition, is to understand that all living entities are non-different from Krishna and situated within Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada writes, the result of receiving knowledge from a self-realized soul or one who knows things as they are is learning that all living beings are parts and parcel of the Supreme Personality of God and Lord Sri Krishna. The sense of an existence separate from Krishna is called Maya. So this is it. Everything in existence is part and parcel of God. All the sustenance of all living entities is done by God through His energies. The sun is the energy of the Lord. Water is the energy of the Lord. Earth is the energy of the Lord. And all the transformations therein, they are energies of the Lord. So we are all eternally part and parcel of the Lord. But that understanding has been beclouded, by lack of knowledge, by ignorance. So the spiritual master helps to remove that ignorance so that we can be able to see things clearly as they are in relationship with the Lord. This is the first of them. Having understood this, we see that everything in existence, this you will get by the mercy of the spiritual master. This is the type of knowledge you get from the spiritual master. The spiritual master is able to open your eyes to see that everything in existence is part and parcel of God. It's not knowledge of mathematics or arithmetic. It's not knowledge of where to buy the best thing in the world. That is not the type of knowledge. That knowledge is commonly available to businessmen. The knowledge about the self and its relationship with the super self. This is the type of knowledge you get from the spiritual master. Maya turns us away from Krishna, and then we consider ourselves independent of Him. We are, however, eternally Krishna's part and parcels. We come from Krishna's part, yet we are eternally individual units of parcels. We need His shelter and His service. Thus, an elevated soul thinks, I am Krishna's, and Krishna is mine. Jivara Swarupa Krishna. That the hands, we now realize that it is part and parcel of the whole body. Not that it is an independent unit. The enjoyment of the hands is only when the hand is in relationship with the whole body. Otherwise, it is a cut off hand. The enjoyment and happiness of the hand or the part of the body is when it is connected to the whole body. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. Now we are disconnected in consciousness right now. Therefore, we are thinking ourselves to be what we are not. This is the basis of the suffering of God. So the spiritual master will now help to redirect your attention to this fundamental illusion, and so that we can uproot that illusion from the root. And this is it. The spiritual master will help us to realize that we are not these bodies, but we are spirit souls, and as spirit souls, we are eternal part and parcel of Krishna. And as long as the part is in connection with the whole, in the same frequency or in the same harmony, there is happiness for the part, not otherwise. Otherwise, a cut off hand is never happy because it cannot have any separate existence, meaningful separate existence. So this is it. Render service to the bona fide spiritual master. The spiritual master, you approach a spiritual master, you inquire from him submissively, then you render services unto him, many services unto him. In that way, the spiritual master becomes pleased with you. Then he will now reveal, your real identity to you. Now let you realize your real identity by enlightening you, your heart with transcendental knowledge. So this is the formula. So what is the result of receiving knowledge from a self-realized soul? The result of receiving knowledge from a self-realized soul, or one who knows things as they are, is learning that all living beings are part and parcel for the Supreme Personality of God. That is it. And in the ocean, however experienced a human one may be, that is the next verse anyway. Let me preempt. Verse 36. So the purpose of 35 is very sweet, and I think we can read it, but the summary has already been given. So, Rupanuga, you want to read the purpose of 35?
Okay.
These verses we should not rush them because they are very important. If we use the whole day to learn these few verses, it's okay for us.
Thank you, Prabhu. The result of receiving knowledge from a self-realized soul, or one who knows things as they are, is learning that all living beings are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. The sense of an existence separate from Krishna is called Maya. Ma, not ya, this. Some think that we have nothing to do with Krishna, that Krishna is only a great historic personality, and that the Absolute is the impersonal Brahman. Factually, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, this impersonal Brahman is the personal effulgence of Krishna. Krishna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the cause of everything. In the Brahma Samhita, it is clearly stated that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. Even the millions of incarnations are only his different expansions. Similarly, the living entities are also expansions of Krishna. The Mayavadi philosophers wrongly think that Krishna loses his own separate existence in his many expansions. This thought is material in nature. We have experience in the material world that are things, when fragmentally distributed, loses its own original identity. But the Mayavadi philosophers fail to understand that absolute means the 1 plus 1 is equal to 1, and that 1 minus 1 is also equal to 1. This is the case in the absolute world. For want of sufficient knowledge in the absolute science, we are now covered with illusion, and therefore we think that we are separate from Krishna, although we are separated parts of Krishna. We are nevertheless not different from him. The bodily difference of the living entities is Maya, or not actual facts. We are all meant to satisfy Krishna. By Maya alone, Arjuna thought that the temporary bodily relationship with his kinsmen was more important than his eternal spiritual relationship with Krishna. The whole teaching of the Gita is targeted toward this end, that a living being, as Krishna's eternal servitor, cannot be separated from Krishna, and his sense of being and identity apart from Krishna is called Maya. The living entities are separate parts and parcels of the Supreme, have a purpose to fulfill. Having forgotten that purpose, since time immemorial, they are situated in different bodies as men, animals, demigods, etc. Such bodily differences arise from forgetfulness of the transcendental service of the Lord. But when one is engaged in transcendental service through Krishna consciousness, one becomes at once liberated from this illusion. One can acquire such pure knowledge only from the bona fide spiritual master, and thereby avoid the delusion that the living entity is equal to Krishna. Perfect knowledge is that the Supreme Soul, Krishna, is the supreme shelter for all living entities, and giving up such shelter, the living entities are deluded by the material energy, imagine themselves to have a separate identity. Thus, under different standards of material identity, they become forgetful of Krishna. When, however, such deluded living entities become situated in Krishna consciousness, it is to be understood that they are on the path of liberation, as confirmed in the Bhagavatam. Mukti hi twa yate rupam swarupena vyavastiti. Liberation means to be situated in one's constitutional position as an eternal servitor of Krishna, Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
So that is it. That is the knowledge you get from the Guru. Knowledge about your eternal relationship with Krishna, which has been long forgotten, and which is the cause of all miseries, suffering. Therefore, the spiritual master is able to redirect your attention back to that original cause of suffering. That the solution is to reestablish that relationship with the Lord through devotional service, as practiced in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So this International Society for Krishna Consciousness is a platform. It's a platform provided by the Parampara for the lost, for the fortunate souls among the lost ones to start reestablishing that lost relationship with Krishna. This is it. So it is a very confidential knowledge. It is not the knowledge of where to buy this or where not to buy this. It's knowledge about the self and the relationship between the self and the super self. This is the knowledge you get from the guru. Very, very important. Having said that, we now move on to verse 17. Verse 36, I mean. Appreciate Asipa Pebia, Sarvavia, Papa Kristamaha, Sarvam Gyanam Plaveniva, Regionam Santaris Yasi. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. Purport. Even if.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada. Okay.
Okay, I think you want.
Proper studies of one's constitutional position in relationship to Krishna is so nice that it can at once lead one from the struggle of existence which goes on in the ocean of nations. This material world is sometimes regarded as an ocean of nations and sometimes as a blazing forest. In the ocean, however, expert a swimmer one may be, the struggle for existence is very severe. If someone comes forward and lifts the struggle swimmer from the ocean, he is the greatest savior. Perfect knowledge received from the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the path of liberation. The boat of Krishna consciousness is very simple, but at the same time, the most humbling. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is very powerful. Yes. Very, very powerful. That proper understanding. That means the result of this kind of knowledge. When you acquire this kind of knowledge, what is the result? The proper understanding of one's constitutional position and relationship to Krishna is so nice that it can at once lift one from the struggle for material existence, which goes on in the ocean of this. It can immediately lead to. That means this kind of knowledge of your relationship with the Supreme can attract divine intervention, which is so powerful. Therefore, when one gets the Guru, there are two questions when you offer obeisance to the Guru. There are two questions you should ask. As soon as you meet a Guru, your spiritual master, especially when you accept him, there are two questions you should ask. Jai Gurudev, how did I come into this material world? So ask him. Ask your Guru. You should ask him. Be bold enough to ask questions to your Guru. Anything you are not clear about. Say, Gurudev, how did I come into this material world? Then, second question, how can I get out of this material world? Because the material world, as we have seen, is full of misery, birth, old age, disease, and death. If I'm an eternal spirit soul, how did I come into this kind of material entanglement? Then two, how can I actually get out so I can get reinstated in my original constitutional position as eternal servant of Krishna? How can I get out? These two questions you ask the Guru. Yes. And the Guru will answer these questions. And anywhere you don't understand, you ask him again. Then he will clarify. Anywhere you don't understand, you ask him again. You understand? Anywhere you don't understand, you should ask him. It's a serious subject matter. See? So why? Because this material world is considered to be an ocean of nescience. When you fall into an ocean, there are so many fishes and so many aquatics, big animals in the ocean. So even if you are a very good swimmer, your situation is not secure because you can be a victim of hungry sea animal. Even if you can swim, a very hungry sea animal can be very close. And all what he sees is that this is my food. God has sent me food. So it will come with full stop, full force, and cut any part of your body and start eating. Without cooking, without fire, without anything. It will just come with full force, cut any part of the body that his mouth can reach, and start to eat right there. The shark will do that. And other big fishes in the sea, they will just come, cut there some portion and begin to eat. God, thank you. So even if you are a good swimmer, it's dangerous once you are falling into an ocean. So this material world is an ocean of mistakes. So many mysteries are there. So it is not by your own effort, your expert's effort of swimming, that you can actually get out. You need divine intervention. And the spiritual master connects you to this kind of intervention. It gives you the opportunity to attract the higher beings by helping you to begin the process of devotional service. Whereby Krishna begins to say, oh, that's soul trying to render some service. Where everybody is mad, this person is trying to do some service to me. Who is that person? Then he intervenes. Just as on the screen, in the PowerPoint, you will see the ocean. The person in this ocean is you and me. This person is you and me. This person is you and me. We are falling into the ocean of nescience. And inside this ocean, there is the Timingila fish, there is the shark, there are the whales, there are sea crocodiles, there are terrible, terrible aquatics who are man-eaters. So even if you know how to swim, you can come across any of these man-eaters and they can just start eating your body from many parts. It could be the hand, it could be the stomach, it could be the face. They start to eat the body. So it's a dangerous situation. You need a swift deliverance from the ocean. And you can see that Vishnu is on the back of Garuda. He's on the back of Garuda to swiftly deliver the devotee. The devotee doesn't need to wait for the normal process, due process to come out. There is divine intervention in the life of the devotee. So in the ocean, however experienced the swimmer one will be, the struggle for existence is very severe. If someone comes forward and lifts the struggling swimmer from the ocean, he is the greatest savior. And that is the spiritual master who gives you that connection to get connected to Krishna. So perfect knowledge received from the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the path of liberation. Okay. So in this way, the Guru gives you the opportunity for this connection. So when you meet the Guru, ask these questions. Jai Gurudev, how did I come into this material world? How did I fall into this material world? I would say it's like somebody in the ocean, in the midst of all the danger, asking how you fell into the ocean. That question is important. But more important than that question is, how can I get out? So immediately you hold on to the one, how can I get out? So you ask the Guru, please, how can I get out of this ocean? And then Guru will show him the process he can practice to attract this divine intervention. The Lord will swiftly deliver you. Just bring your sins and take you out of the ocean. Cover you with his grace. So this is the formula. This is the opportunity available to all of us. Okay? So this transcendental knowledge is so powerful that the word appreciates, even if used when one accepts the occurrence of an unlikely, apparently self-contradictory event. Now, these questions could be asked as posed by Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur. If someone is acting so sinfully, how can his heart become purified? And without such purification, how can he develop knowledge? And if he has developed knowledge, how can he act such improperly? So Krishna is thus describing this appreciated situation to glorify the purifying effects of transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge is very, very purifying. Just by knowing that you are not this body, you are a spirit soul. It's big treasure, it's a huge treasure. Just knowing with conviction that you are not this body, but it's a spirit soul. It's the beginning of liberation. The intervention of the spiritual master will help the whole process, make it easy for us. So, 37. Wait. Yataidam si samindo agni basmasat kurute ajuna Gyananagni sarva karmani basmasat kurute tata. As the blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to transcendental knowledge, or all reactions to material activities. So the glories of transcendental knowledge is further expanded in this verse. As a blazing fire burns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. Purport. Somebody reading the purport? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I'm hearing you, Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Go,
Perfect
Ranga.
knowledge. Perfect knowledge of self and super self and of their relationship is compared herein to fire. The fire not only burns up all reactions in pious activity, but also all reactions to pious activities, turning them to ashes. There are many stages of reaction. Reaction in making, reaction purifying, reaction already achieved.
Reaction is priority. Haribo. Haribo. But knowledge of the constitutional position of the living entity burns everything to ashes. When one is in complete knowledge, all reactions, both a priori and a posteriori, are consumed. In the Vedas, it is stated, Ube, Uhaiswasa, Etetarati, Amritaha, Sadhu.
And reaction of the constitutional position of the living and complete knowledge, all reactions.
Posteriori.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, there was a network epilepsy. There was network epilepsy. So it's okay. But we got the essence. Thank you very much. So, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur comments, Krishna says, for one whose heart has become purified, I destroy completely whatever karma has already been generated, with the exception of his prarabdha karma. A transcendental knowledge does destroys all reactions, both pious and impious. All that is, except prarabdha karma, or matured reactions, such as one's present material body. Okay, so we said our karma matures there are different stages of maturity of karma. Like when the seed is in the seed form, when the fruit is in the seed form, when it is a plant, when it's already fruitified, and when the fruit is matured. These are the different stages. So it is the matured fruit of our previous activities that have given us this material body. The transcendental knowledge is able to clear everything from the roots up to the present body we have. And within the body, by using the body in devotional activities, then the remnant is also cleared. So transcendental knowledge has the potency to uproot the seed of sinful reaction in our hearts. And by situating yourself in a continuous state here in the action of devotees, even the remnant, the mature one, get cleansed. So this is the potency of transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge is so potent that just as a blazing fire burns firewood to ashes, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. So it is by good fortune that we are in contact with this transcendental knowledge. And if we take full advantage, proper advantage of this opportunity afforded us by the parampara, we are also going to get all our sinful reactions burned to ashes. And in this very life, our activities will attract the divine intervention of the Lord in this way. Our activities will be able to attract the Lord to intervene in our life and to swiftly deliver us. Say for those who are his devotees, he is the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. The Lord will deliver us like this. He will come and situated on his mercy, costless mercy, he will just extend his hand and pick us out from the ocean of mercy. This is the glory of transcendental knowledge. The purpose of this chapter is to encourage Arjuna to do Niskama Kama Yoga, not to give up his prescribed duty, but to do the prescribed duties with the consciousness of offering everything for Krishna's pleasure. If you do that, we say that activity itself is the igniting force, that there is the fire of knowledge within the wood of Niskama Kama Yoga. And those Niskama Kama Yoga activities will now ignite the fire. When you see a dry wood, you know that inside it there is fire. But you just need to bring the proper materials together and light it. Then it will start burning. So the fire of transcendental knowledge is hidden within the activities of Niskama Kama Yoga. Arjuna and Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to do Niskama Kama Yoga. You and me, we are encouraged to do Niskama Kama Yoga, to act and offer the result to Krishna. This is Niskama Kama Yoga. When you are doing that, it will awaken that knowledge of your real identity and your relationship with God. And that is the beginning of Bhakti. That you will realize by experience that you are not this body, but you are actually a spirit soul. That the body is just an instrument for the soul to act. And as a soul, you are eternally part of our soul, Krishna. And with full conviction of this knowledge, you begin to see things as they are. You begin to see everything in relationship with Krishna. And by acting and selecting your activities in that direction, Krishna conscious direction, your spiritual life has begun. And the intervention of the spiritual master is to guide you, on how to act in a way that eventually you will arrive. Your Krishna consciousness will be fully awakened. And this is the purport of this verse. So there are the glories for those who have attained this understanding and who are already situated on the path of transcendence. These are some of the glories of transcendental knowledge. getting this knowledge about your real identity and relationship with the Supreme is so powerful that just as the blazing fire and burn firewood to ashes, so does the fire of transcendental knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. You become naturally disinclined to act materially. You want to act in knowledge. You select your activity. There are many things you have been doing that you will not like to do again, because the fire of transcendental knowledge has been ignited within your heart. And that fire will burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. But we shall see as we are going on more glories of this transcendental knowledge in the next 2 verses. Then we see the implication of not acting in transcendental knowledge. For those who ignore transcendental knowledge, what happens to them? We shall see that. So, verse 38. These are some of the very sweet verses glorifying transcendental knowledge. Nahi gyarena sadrisam pavitram hiya vidyate tatvayam yoga samsida kalenat mani vindati. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is a mature fruit of all mysticism. And one who has achieved this enjoys the self within himself in due course of time. They attain self-realization in due course of time. Purpose.
When we speak of transcendental knowledge, we do so in terms of spiritual understanding. As such, there is nothing so sovereign and pure as transcendental knowledge. Ignorance is the cause of our bondage. Knowledge is the cause of our liberation. This knowledge is the mature fruit of devotional service. And when one is situated in transcendental knowledge, he need not search for peace elsewhere, for he enjoys his peace within himself. In other words, this knowledge and peace culminate in Krishna consciousness. That is the last word in Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Very good. So this is glorious. Yes, Kalena. Kalena means in the course of time. Kalena. Kalena. In the course of time. That Krishna uses the word Kalena to warn against premature renunciation. Don't rush to renounce your activities now. Now your focus will be to walk and
Why? Any problem with this? Any problem?
I don't know, maybe network problem. We can't hear him.
but it's not online. So many people is not online. I don't-
Yeah, he's not here, but let's wait for him.
All right, maybe you come again.
Sure.
So as of now, from chapter 4 to test 38, 39, what have we learned? We came late, so I don't know if those of us who are on time can give us a brief. I think somebody should find out from him.
Okay. Yeah, Haribo, and what's pronounced?
Oh, glorious.
I found out from him is better, so he's still loading it to see if it can come online.
These things must be solved one and seven for all. You know you are teaching. You know the hours you normally spend on lectures. So why always this inconvenience?
Well, to him, no. One of the students sent him data automatically, so he assumed he has data. But for him, he don't know why the thing cut off just like that. So he's checking it to see if it's data, then he will
This
load
is
it
what it is.
again.
When you are coming onto online, you must check if you are. So this is not the excuse. Some of us we don't have time. So a little time we have, we must use it wisely. Other than that, it goes against us. When I came online, almost 1 hour is gone. Wasted anything. And as we have a lot of things to do in the temple. So if it comes like that, it disturbs us also.
Sure. So we can wait for a while and see.
We
It
are
has
still
already
waiting.
happened.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please. I just contacted Prabhuji, and the problem is not with data. I think his machine intermittently continue to freeze, so he's restarting the system again. So he will soon join us. He has more data, more than enough, over 5 gig. So the problem is not with data.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Very well.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, don't ever pronounce.
Gonna forgive us. So I knew you had the fight
Hare
to
Krishna.
establish itself from the old year passing away. Is holding the leg of New Year. New Year has no time for old year. Hare Krishna.
Mhm.
So
Hare Krishna.
we continue. Few more glories of transcendental knowledge. Then we are going to see those who have faith in it, the benefit, and those who are faithless. What are the consequences? That is going to finish the chapter. So right now we're explaining the word kalena. That kalena means in course of time. That Krishna uses the word kalena to warn against premature renunciation. They're simply adopting the outer garb of a sannyasi, as is sometimes done by the Mayavadis, as if that will automatically fix us in knowledge and free us from sin. Krishna also uses the term kalena to encourage detached work, which truly bestows transcendental knowledge. That in course of time indicates that transcendental knowledge is gradually revealed in the heart of one practicing Niskama Kama. It is an important point. That Niskama Kama Yoga, let's understand again. Niskama Kama Yoga means doing our prescribed work with a detached consciousness. Doing our duty, prescribed duty, without attachment to the result. That means while offering the result to Krishna, working as a matter of yoga, offering the result to Krishna. We do our duty, but we are not attached to the result. Good or bad, we accept it, but we have to do our part. Doing our part alone and offering the result to Krishna is Niskama Kama Yoga. That if we are doing that, the end is that it will bring Gyan. Niskama Kama Yoga results in Gyan. And this point is that as long as we are doing our Niskama Kama Yoga, realize knowledge is on the way coming. You just have to keep on doing. Just keep on doing. Some people, they will realize the thing faster. Others, it may take more time. But as long as you are on the path, doing your prescribed duty as you are doing, chanting your rounds, following regulatory principles, and doing whatever we can to propagate Krishna consciousness activities to make temple and Krishna. As long as we are on that track doing, we eventually arrive at that knowledge, that realized knowledge. Actually, we are not these bodies, but we are eternal spiritual souls who are part of our Krishna. That this is very, very important. Krishna encouraged Arjuna to do this, and is encouraging us to continue to do the same thing, that we will eventually arrive. But premature renunciation without enough purification, it will lead to more complication. So this is where we are. That knowledge will bring us to Niskama Kamanika will bring us to that realization. You see? So that is it. It will manifest. That knowledge will manifest. Aribo, please lock this door for me. So verse 39. Verse 39. Spradavalabate Gyanam Tatpara Samyatendriya Gyanam Labdwa Para Sanktim Achirena Adiga Shati. A faithful man who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. A faithful man, you have some faith. A faithful man who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Quickly. Say in due course of time, you attain, but yes, it quickly attains. It's on the same track. So purport.
Such knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a faithful person who believes firmly in Krishna. One is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. This is faith. It's attained by discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which cleanses one's heart of all material death. Over and above this, one should control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you can see the glories of this type of knowledge. We attain without delay. So let us all situate ourselves. We are already there. Aribo, please attend to your ghost servant now. Distracting me. So you can see that if you continue to practice and you continue to do your own part, practicing self-control, doing your services, is a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Your purification will bring you to that knowledge that this is time tested. It worked before and it will continue to work. So, Hare Krishna. It continues to work. It worked before. It is working now. And it will continue to work. But you must do with faith. Faith means with the conviction that very soon this will happen. You have the conviction that it will happen. So you are doing. Wait. I'm trying to bring my screen and I'm trying to bring my Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Sorry, my screen is trying to.
Since you are not the host, you cannot share.
Huh?
Since you are not the host, you cannot share.
Okay, then you have to. Who is the host now?
It's Prabhu.
Asignati.
Asignati here. I don't know. It's
I better go.
Asvini Kurmara also. Or what is the name?
Is it? Then tell the person to make me host now. If the person
Yeah,
doesn't know how to do
Prabhu.
it.
Can you hear him, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. Is it Isaac Nati
Yeah.
that is the host?
Yes, please.
Aswini Kumara Prabhu.
So if you
Aswini
cannot
Kumara
do, I
Prabhu.
think you can sign out and come so that the host will go to someone else who can maybe give it to you.
Isaac Nati Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
You are the host now. Somehow just I've lost
I'm sorry.
the position of the host. Can you make me host now? Okay, let's be continuing as that is going on.
I don't know how I became the host now.
So maybe you can sign out and the host will go to, you can sign out and join in again. The host will go
You
to
can sign
someone
out
else.
and come in again so that the host will leave you and come to someone else. Hare Krishna. So anyway, that is it. That here Krishna explains the qualification of a man, the qualifications a man needs to obtain transcendental knowledge. He must be faithful, dedicated, and sense-controlled. The qualification for attaining this transcendental knowledge is to be faithful. What is the faith? The faith is that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and we are his eternal servants. That knowledge, that strong faith will be there, that Krishna is God, and we are his eternal part and parcel. Then he has to be dedicated to practicing his regulative principles, and he must be sense-controlled. If these qualifications are there, it's a matter of time. Yes, it's a matter of time. We attain transcendental knowledge. If he's serving, especially if he has a guru and he's serving the guru, and he's serving the Vaishnavas and he's doing the strong sadhana, he will eventually attain transcendental knowledge. So that is it. And that verse 40 says, but if somebody is faithless, what happens? Agyas astradadadascha samsayat manavinasya Nayam loko astina paro nasukam samsayat mana. But ignorant and faithless person who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. This is it. Purport. Somebody should read the purport for us.
Out of many standard and authoritative revealed scriptures, out of many standard and authoritative revealed scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita is the best. Persons who are almost like animals have no faith in or knowledge of the standard revealed scriptures. And some, even though they have knowledge of or can cite passages from the revealed scriptures have actually no faith in these words. And even though others may have faith in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, they do not believe in or worship the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. Such persons cannot have any standing in Krishna consciousness. They fall down. Out of all the above mentioned persons, those who have no faith and are always doubtful make no progress at all. Men without faith in God and his revealed word find no good in this world, nor in the next. For them, there is no happiness whatsoever. One should therefore follow the principles of revealed scriptures with faith and thereby be raised to the platform of knowledge. Only this knowledge will help one become promoted to the transcendental platform of spiritual understanding. In other words, doubtful persons have no status whatsoever in spiritual emancipation. One should therefore follow in the footsteps of great acharyas who are in the disciplic succession and thereby attain success. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So is that got it? That's Viswanatha Chakravarti Thakur. It differentiates between the faithless and the doubters. There are those who are faithless, there are those who are doubters. That he explains that Krishna has mentioned three classes of people who fail: the ignorant or the ajnana is one, the faithless or the ashradadanaha, and the doubters, samsayatmanaha. Ajnana, ashradadanaha, and yes, Ajnana, Samsayatmana, and Ashradadana. There are three. The ignorant, Ajnana, that one is just ignorant, like food. Somebody is like a fool, completely ignorant. And then we have the Samsayatmana. Samsayatmanas are doubters. Then we have the faithless, Ashradadana. The Ashradadana out of them is the worst. That the Ajnana is foolish like the animals, okay? Then the Ashradadana has knowledge of Sastri. But having seen the mutual disagreement of personalities or proponents, different philosophies, Mayavadi, Sunyavadi, Vaishnava, he becomes confused. Different theories. So he has no trust in any of them. Okay, that one is the faithless. Although the Samsayatmana has faith, he is swayed by doubt. So I don't know whether this process will be effective in my case. This is the doubter. The doubter, he doesn't even doubt Krishna consciousness also now. Being confused by different kind of philosophy, he now doubts whether the process of Krishna consciousness will work for him. The doubters have some faith, but they nevertheless doubt that following Sastri will truly award results. So they just follow, but without full faith, hope, and optimism. That such doubters achieve happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Even fools attain some material happiness, but doubters attain none. The doubters are confused, so their situation is even worse than the faithless. They have some faith, but they are doubt whether this will help them, so they cannot absorb in any. So for them, they cannot attain anything. Even they attain some happiness on the platform of foolishness. But for the doubter is so confused that he cannot, take decision which one to follow. So it's just a non-entity there. So these three classes of people are there. Then 41, Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam Gyanam Samshina Samsayam Atmabhatam Na Karmani Nibatnanti Tananjaya. Therefore, one who has renounced the fruits of his action, whose doubts are destroyed by transcendental knowledge, and who is situated firmly in itself, is not bound by what? O conqueror of riches. O conqueror of riches. Any purpose there? That when a person applies transcendental knowledge to work, he will both act dutifully and renounce the fruits of his action. He acts dutifully and he renounces the fruits of his action. Then such a person is actually situated in himself. He knows he's not the body. He knows that work performed for Krishna's pleasure will not bind him with any kind of reactions. His transcendental knowledge has removed his doubts. Okay? In the final verse, in this chapter, Krishna speaks to impel Arjuna to act in knowledge. So finally, he's coming back to glorified Niskama Kama Yoga. The doubters, their faith is being defined. The faithless, the doubters, the faithless, the ignorant, these are the three types of faithless people classified. But for one who acts in knowledge of Niskama Kama Yoga is actually glorious. That for him, even though he's acting, he will not be bound by sinful reactions. Therefore, he's acting in knowledge that the fruits will offer to Krishna. And Krishna wants Arjuna to act like this. So if we just do and focus on doing our duty and not get attached to the results, we are acting in Niskama Kama. That is glorious. And this is what he's saying. Say, therefore, Krishna wants to conclude for Arjuna what he wants. 42, therefore. No. Is it 42? 42. Tasman agyana sambhutam krishnam gyana sinatmana chitwainam samsayam yogam atistotista bharata. Therefore the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance will be slashed by the weapon of knowledge, armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. So, Arjuna, we are not going to read this purport, it's very long. Go and read it on your own. Arjuna, sitting on his chariot, is determined not to fight. Krishna wants him to stand, fix his transcendental knowledge, detached from all results, and fight. Work and knowledge combined will free Arjuna from sinful reaction. Work in knowledge is to work. Krishna wants Arjuna to do his work in the knowledge that is not his body, but his spirit soul is part and parcel of Krishna. And that is offering the result of his work to Krishna. So if there is any karma, Krishna absorbs it. It is yoga. Therefore, he should do his duty to show example as a matter of showing example to others, as a matter of encouraging others not to abandon their work, as a matter of acting for pleasing Krishna. Armed with this type of knowledge, Arjuna has to fight. He should stand up, pick his bow, and fight. This is what Krishna is telling me. That he should not fear. Work and knowledge combined will free Arjuna from the sinful reaction he fears. Therefore, the proper purport to this verse summarizes the chapter. I have divided the purport into sections and added headings to categorize the different topics. Somebody will read this last purpose so that we can finish. Just read the purpose because the way Mr. Prabhupada has summarized it is so sweet that
The
we
yoga
don't do it.
system. Sorry, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
The yoga system instructed in this chapter is called Sanatana Yoga, or eternal activities performed by the living entity. This yoga has two divisions of sacrificial actions. One is called sacrifice of one's material possessions, and the other is called knowledge of self, which is pure spiritual activity. If sacrifice of one's material possession is not dovetailed for spiritual realization, then such sacrifice becomes material, but one who performs such sacrifice with a spiritual objective or in devotional service makes a perfect sacrifice. When we come to spiritual activities, we find that these are also divided into two, namely understanding of one's own self or one's constitutional position, and the truth regarding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who follows the path of Bhagavad Gita as it is can very easily understand these two important divisions of spiritual knowledge. For him, there is no difficulty in obtaining perfect knowledge of the self as part and parcel of the Lord. And such understanding is beneficial, for such a person can easily understand the transcendental activities of the Lord. In the beginning of this chapter, the transcendental activities of the Lord were discussed by the Supreme Lord himself. One who does not understand the instructions of the Gita is faithless and is to be considered to be misusing the fragmental independence awarded to him by the Lord. In spite of such instructions, one who does not understand real nature of the Lord as the eternal, blissful, or all-knowing personality of Godhead is certainly fool number one. Ignorance can be removed by gradual acceptance of the principles of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is awakened by different types of sacrifices to the demigods, sacrifice to Brahman, sacrifice in celibacy, in household life, in controlling the senses, in practicing mystic yoga, in penance, in foregoing material possession, in studying the Vedas, and in partaking of the social institution called Vanamastra Dharma. All of these are known as sacrifice, and all of them are based on regulated action. But within all these activities, the important factor is self-realization. One who seeks that objective is the real student of Bhagavad Gita, but one who doubts the authority of Krishna falls back. One is therefore advised to study Bhagavad Gita or any other scripture under a bona fide spiritual master with service and surrender. A bona fide spiritual master is in the disciplic succession from time eternal, and he does not deviate at all from the instructions of the Supreme Lord as they were impacted millions of years ago to the Sun God, from whom the instructions of Bhagavad Gita have come down to the earthly kingdom. One should therefore follow the path of Bhagavad Gita as is expressed in the Gita itself, and beware of self-interested people after personal aggrandizement, who deviates others from the actual path. The Lord is definitely the supreme person, and his activities are transcendental. One who understands this is a liberated person from the very beginning of his study of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thus ends by the Vedanta purport of the fourth chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of transcendental knowledge. So thank you very much. Hoping to see you next Saturday. All things being equal. Now, so see you next Saturday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Krishna Prema Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Ramachandra, we know how late you came. We know. We have taken notice of
You know, pardon me for the kind of my work. You know, temple
No
president.
way. Everybody has some kind of work. Everybody has a kind of work. It's a matter of how much importance you attach to it. So thank you very much. We are taking. I'm only telling you that we are taking note of your attendance when you come, when you go out. So you cannot flatter me.